Mabuhay, Kamustika. Welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Are shared future goals possible in an age gap marriage? I've made some videos relating to having an age gap in your marriage, and this is another one that will be added to that particular playlist. I think it's called Having a Younger Wife or Younger Wife. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea, where I do my best to raise topics that I think would be good for a foreigner seeking a Filipina to know at some point. Please leave comments, get notifications for upcoming videos. Podcasts are available on Casting Beyond the Sea that you can subscribe to on Podbean. Today's video is about setting future goals in an age gap marriage. Is it even worth it? And what kind of goals would they be? Do you have to marry someone the same age in order to have a plan for a future? For the sake of this video, I will assume that you have a 10 to 20 years or more age gap at the when they get married, and from the time she immigrates to be with you, because that's when you really get to start doing things together. And I think it is worth it. It's something to do. Are two people supposed to start a life together and have no plans for their future, even in an age gap? They should, for the good of their relationship. The main obstacle for this is that he, generally speaking, doesn't have a lot of life left, depending on his age and health, compared to the younger, healthier Filipina. Another one could be that they might not have a lot in common, but as I have pointed out in other videos, they can discover things to seek to enjoy together so that it becomes a common interest they can share later on. The man might have some items in his bucket list already, and if he does, why not see if his wife can be a part of this too, to be a part of the goal. Maybe he has always wanted to travel to a certain destination, but now that he is married, could give his wife a chance to see it too. This is a goal, and that it is something to look forward to in the future. It doesn't have to be something that requires years of preparation. It may sound funny, but if I had to say I even had a bucket list at any time, the only thing in it would have been to get married. I did get married finally, thankfully, at 53, so there is time to set future goals, but here's the key: to set future goals that align with your Filipinas. Again, but what kind? Well, ask your Filipina about that, an experience that you would share with her. Before I got married, I had wanted to work for like 50 years, retiring at 69. But since getting married, that number kept getting smaller and smaller, from 69 to 67 to 65 to 63, maybe at the very earliest 62. Well, as it turned out, it was earlier than that. One of the goals my wife and I have kicked around is retiring in the Philippines, where we wouldn't need as much money per month to live on. The main driver for that would be my wife being from there and not being crazy about living in America for the entirety of the rest of her life, and she would prefer to retire in the Philippines. Now, that's just an example of a future goal that has to do with my wife. It is a goal to look forward to together. I'm not opposed to it, but I would need to make sure that certain meds would be available, if we did that someday. Once there, Lord willing, we could come up with some ideas of places to see or things to do together. We have already built a house there, but if you haven't, that could be a goal. For some couples, living in the Philippines or not, having a child might be a goal of theirs. There are places my wife and I would like to see together, if possible in the future, outside of the Philippines. For example, we have been to Paris. That was really cool, the second wedding anniversary. If you can think of a variety of things you could have as goals with your Filipino wife, find out what planning needs to be done and go for it. Personally, like I said, I hadn't put much thought into it, so I find it easier just to ask my wife if there are some things that we could look forward to doing together in the future. I know she doesn't want to retire in the Philippines if we do that and not have anything to do. She'd like to be able to be employed at something perhaps, but be able to have her own hours and call the shots. I'd like to be able to help her with that if I could. Include her in your future goals or include her in yours to be able to decide on future goals to share with each other. Put your heads together on this. They don't have to be extravagant future goals. It may even be easier to come up with some that don't take 5 years of preparation. You might be surprised what your Filipina wants to do in her future and how you can help her with it. I'm not the most imaginative person, so I prefer to simply ask my wife what her dreams are and see if I can help. It makes me feel good and is something we can enjoy together. Let me know what your future goals are with your Filipina wife. Shared future goals in an age gap marriage is certainly possible, healthy, and encouraged. They just might require a little more sense of urgency. I look forward to our future when we take our love beyond the sea.